Welcome to this week's episode. It is the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020, depending on when you're listening to this.
I prefer to think of things at the beginning.
Okay, exactly. So the beginning of 2020, or it might be some other time, due to the magic of media, right? But if you are, this is a time capsule about what our most popular aviation marketing topics were in 2019. And some of them are going to be, John hasn't seen this before, so he doesn't know.
Right.
So some of these you may find surprising, some of them you may not, but we'll see what happens. So this episode, of course, is being brought to you by our aviation marketing calendar, which seems fitting, right?
Right.
And you can get our aviation marketing calendar. If you are a sales or marketing professional in the aviation industry, then you definitely want this calendar. It includes our book club selections, all of the key events for aviation professionals, like, you know, all of the NBAA events and all the HAI events and all of the MRO events.
Oh, key, but I mean, there are, last time we went through this, we counted 230 plus different trade shows.
That is true, and they're
not all here
on this calendar. Okay, good point. But it is a nice reference, and it also is a nice way to plan your year, especially your media, as you're going through the year and thinking about what topics do you want to cover in whatever format that you use for your marketing, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So if there is one message that has stood out to me from all of the crazy diverse things we're going to talk about, it is that reusing, repurposing, and recycling material, every piece of content that we create for ABCI ends up having a really long life because we reuse it in different ways, right?
And it's a whole lot easier to take something you've already created and modify it than to create it from scratch again.
Exactly. And whenever we produce a story or a piece of content, like the one that you're seeing today, we produce it in three different ways. One for our website, as a blog post. One as a podcast that goes on iTunes or Stitcher, Google Play, those kinds of things. And the third way is as a video on YouTube. And so, we're actually going to talk about those three media and what our top three articles were in each of those media, or videos, or podcasts, or whatever, episodes, right?
Okay.
And what is interesting is different people use different media.
Of course.
Should be obvious, right? But you would think that the top three, there would be some commonality between those media, right? People who see that if one topic is popular as a blog post, you would think that topic would also be popular as a video.
Not necessarily.
Okay, well, it was a surprise.
Because the people who watch podcasts may not be the same people who watch
YouTube videos.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I rarely go to YouTube.
Okay.
But podcast, it's different.
You listen to podcasts?
Sometimes.
Okay.
More than YouTube.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's true. It's a different audience, and when you think about your audience, you want to have as many opportunities as possible to get your materials in front of them. So that's two things you can find out from this episode is, number one, what is everybody else interested in as far as aviation marketing? And number two, which is, interesting to find out. And number two, how does this work in terms of what type of people use what type of media? Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about our website, the top three articles on our website. And this is valuable to us. This is valuable information. You may want to do this on your own website. Just go to Google Analytics, put in the whole year, so January 1st through December 31st. Have it list all of the articles. You go under behavior, and I don't know why it's under behavior, but it is under behavior. And then you look at all of the landing pages. So you just sort those by number of views or number of downloads, or however you want to do that. You can also sort by the amount of time people spend on those, and there's a lot of different ways to look at that data that will tell you how valuable each piece of content is that you own. And what's interesting is some of the ones that came up, in fact all of the ones that came up using this method, were at least 3 years old. Every piece of content that was in our top three was more than 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So
does that mean we're getting worse at what we're doing, or?
Well, and this is just views in 2019,
Uh-huh.
So obviously some of these things are evergreen. They're still valuable even years after we do them.
That's interesting.
Some of them we've updated a little bit since then, because we know they're popular,
Right.
so we've touched them up, so we're cheating a little bit. And some of them are just, really popular, timeless topics, And things that people search for on the web, they search differently on the web than they do for a podcast. They're more likely to listen to those in order, so they're more likely to listen to the current ones. Those kinds of things, right?
True.
Okay. So, first one is digital citizens, how to hire one, or why and how you want to hire one or be one. This is a 2011 article.
Seriously?
I kid you not. So this is something that didn't get a lot of attention when we first put it out there. And this year it is one of our most popular. It's actually our third place. So we're doing these in reverse order so that we can build the suspense as we build up to number one, right?
Okay.
Okay. But still, it was our number 3 article, and we wrote it, what is that, 8 years ago?
Yeah, depending, almost 9.
Yeah. That's crazy. But it's not really about technology. It's about culture, right?
And content.
Yeah. It's about how you need different people in your organization and how they fit together. And it's about some of the skills that you want to hire for and how to find people who can provide those skills and how you can work with those people. So that's a timeless, no matter what the technology is, that's always been a topic, right?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah.
That's crazy. That's a really old one.
Mm-hmm. I know. I said the reason that I didn't show you this before is because I wanted everybody to see your shock and surprise at some of these items.
Right.
Okay. So that was number 3.
We'll talk about shocking and surprising on video.
Right, exactly. Client appreciation events, how to host a client appreciation event for maximum marketing impact. This is a perennially popular article, and this was our number 2 this year.
Yeah, well. Yeah, but that wasn't made in 2002.
2014.
Really?
Yeah. Amazing, right? But events are events, people are people, right?
Yep.
And nothing new is happening about that, and people still want to know. In fact, I've looked this up myself because I want to throw an event and I want to remember all of that research that we did to put that article together. How do we make sure that this is a success? So yeah, I'm looking up my own articles. I don't know how that means I have a short memory or whatever. But anyway, that's an interesting one. And events are incredibly important to marketing, I think, especially in aviation, because in retail or whatever, you can just do commercials and TV and radio and everything else. But in aviation, we all want to meet each other. We all want to meet our clients, and there's so much money and so much complexity changing hands that people really want to shake hands and share a meal or whatever and get involved.
We found that to be true.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first most important was actually a current one from this year. What is aviation marketing? We decided to go back to the basics and define some of the terms and talk about, what is different about aviation marketing between our industry and the rest of the world, right?
Yeah, we did, but that's the top one?
Mm-hmm. That was number 1 on the website.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So those are articles on the website. What's interesting about the podcast, again, people like to listen kind of chronologically or reverse chronologically, depending on how their player is set up, to podcasts. So a lot of these are more current. All of these are from this year. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of interesting. And so this gives you a different window into all of that. And also a lot of things that are really conducive to podcasts are, things that are spoken and things like that don't have a lot of visual elements to them. So, those are the ones that are popular. So, a couple of these are surprising to me. Our third most popular podcast, and remember, people are not even seeing this, they're listening to it, is aviation promo videos. So people are listening to a podcast about how to do a video. Is that like
but
ironic?
Not watching it.
No, they're not watching it. They're listening.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it works. Whatever works.
Exactly. So no judgment.
So they watch it. Do they go back and then? I mean, they listen to it. They go back and watch it later.
It did have a lot of views. This video, but it was actually the third most popular of our audio downloads. So.
Whatever works.
Yeah, maybe they're listening to it in their car and then they go back later and watch the video on how to do this. But that's interesting. Second is marketing for consultants, brokers, and service providers.
Oh, that's relatively new.
Right, that is definitely this year.
Yeah.
And very specific to a group of people. So, we were wondering how that was going to play out, if our audience would feel excluded if they are not a consultant, if they happen to be a manufacturer of components or whatever. But it was a very popular episode, so I guess that was cool. And it did have some information that's good for everybody. And the first most popular, our 5-sentence voicemail outline, which is a very audio-friendly topic, right?
Exactly.
Okay. It's also very how-to, which tells me that we probably should be doing more how-tos.
Okay.
Okay. Since you're doing the work, you go right ahead.
That's right.
Okay. And also, we really appreciate our audio listeners, as well as our video watchers, as well as our readers on the website. We started out writing articles on the website, so that's kind of our bias. That's kind of my bias because I happen to be a reader. But, obviously there's a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers that we really are very happy that you're following us and really happy that you're getting value out of our materials as well. So that's audio, and then video, on to promo video. And video has gotten a lot more popular, and our YouTube channel has gotten a lot more popular over the last year. So, there's a lot of things that we're doing to make that happen, but there's also a lot of things culturally, I think, that are happening to make that happen. Google is favoring videos a lot, and if you put videos in your articles, it will often lead people to other videos. We put end screens in our videos to lead people to our other videos and so on. So there's some little tricks that you can use for video marketing that we're doing and that we can help you with when you do that.
And yes, we know there are other search engines. However, Google has got about 70% of the search traffic in this country, at least.
In the world, actually.
In the world?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's a... That's why we talk about Google and not others. Bing
and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo and all the other crazy things. The other thing is that since Google owns YouTube, and since YouTube is a part of the Alphabet family, it integrates really well with the Google My Business, all of the other Google properties. So that's another good reason for that. So our top 3 videos, weirdly, number 3 was our book club discussion on Nuts, the Southwest Airlines Herb Kelleher story. So a lot of people are looking that up. A lot of people are watching that. And that one is old. Okay. Another one was our book club discussion about guerrilla marketing. That one was from this year. And that was the one that we did with Mickey Gaminol.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of his friends were contributing to that. A lot of young folks. Hopefully we're appealing to them as well in these new media and things, because that's one of our ways of reaching out to new generations and so on. And how to prepare for a sales call, which is a very old, probably needs to be updated, kind of embarrassing video because we were using different technology at the time. So it's a little bit grainy and bitmappy if you're used to the more HD videos on YouTube. Hopefully that's not reflecting badly on us if that's our people's first and last
but not if it's number
introduction.
1.
That's true. Apparently a lot of people are finding it, so we're going to have to update it and replace it.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Okay, so the interesting thing about all of this is that, those are the topics. If you missed them, you can go back and watch them yourself. But what's interesting to us is, what should we do more of? So it's almost like you're voting with your eyeballs, by either going to a web page or downloading an audio or watching a video. You're voting for the topics that you think are the most interesting, and that informs our editorial calendar for 2020, right?
Right.
Okay. Speaking of editorial calendars, this is how we're planning it. We practice what we preach. When we met on Monday, we went through our calendar worksheet, and here are the things that we have planned. Here are the things that we have planned as promotions, and here are some of the editorial contents that we need to support that and make that work for us, right?
And that was part 1 of the meeting. Part 2 was finances.
Part 2 was finances, exactly. Actually, that was just a small part of our meeting because we also did a lot of other stuff. But we do practice what we preach, and it becomes a regular part of our company. And what works for us is what we promote to our clients and so on. And the other thing is to reuse, repurpose, and recycle. You want to be ecologically friendly. Actually, you don't want to be ecologically friendly. This is not ecologically friendly because this is not plastic reusables, but it is saving a lot of time when you can take one piece of content and produce it in 4 different ways, and create materials from one recording session. We go get a transcript of it, we put it on our website, we take the video, we put it on YouTube, we create the audio, we host it on our podcast, and all of those things come from one sitting, right? Mm-hmm. And so it is a little bit of extra work, but incrementally, it is very little compared to the amount of mileage that we get from each of these things. And the new sets of eyeballs, or earballs, or whatever, that we encounter, every time we produce a new piece of content, right? Okay, cool. So if you like our printed calendar, there is a place to go get that. If you search for Aviation Marketing Calendar on Google, you'll find it pretty easily, or you can find it on our website under the tip sheets. And we'd be happy to send that to you if you fill out a little form for us. So go sell more stuff.
America needs the business, says Mr. Ziegler, and it's still as good a quote today as it was back then.
Absolutely. Actually, the aviation industry needs your business. So if you're not in the U.S., they need your business as well.
Exactly.
Right? Thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate you watching, listening, reading in 2019, and we hope you'll stay with us in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and have a great day.